All right, good evening from 5 News. I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. We're tracking this line of thunderstorms that's right now across portions of eastern Oklahoma. But as we go on throughout the rest of the night tonight, we'll be watching out for the main concern being some straight line damaging winds. And right now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that includes just portions of Sequoyah County. Right now, from the National Weather Service, the latest information that we've got is basically they're saying right now this line of thunderstorms is underperforming, not really producing much in the way of severe weather. But as it crosses over into eastern Oklahoma, eventually western Arkansas, we could see some resurgence, prompting more in the way of those strong damaging wind gusts, maybe even a hail threat as we go on throughout the rest of the night tonight into early tomorrow morning. So let's go ahead and talk about this severe thunderstorm warning that's eventually going to be crossing over into Sequoyah County. This is our only warning that we have right now. We're watching two systems kind of merge together, one coming from southeastern Kansas and one that's been tracking across central Oklahoma. So this warning is going out until 12:15, and this is for 60-mile-an-hour winds. So I want to pull up velocity here, and you can see where those strong damaging winds are moving in right now. Again, even though this is our one warning, I want to give a heads up to folks who live on the western side of Sequoyah County into evening shade, eventually moving into the Gore area right across I-40. These are those strong damaging winds in the Muskogee area right now that are pushing our direction, eventually making its way into Sequoyah County, eventually down the line into Sebastian and LaFleur County as well. So let's go ahead and track this out just in case this line of thunderstorms starts to resurge and starts to build some energy. We could be talking about some damaging winds maybe down the line. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our tracker here. This is a slow mover. This is only moving about 35 miles per hour. So the timing that you're about to see is most likely going to be very early in the morning. By the time we see arrival and they're updating that warning, we'll check that out here in a second. So some times of arrival here, Gore area reaching in about 15 minutes or so right after midnight. Sallisaw closer towards 12:30. Brent at 12:45. Roland just after 1 a.m. Fort Smith reaching at 1:15. And Almo reaching close to 1:30. Again, this is only moving 35 miles per hour, producing really strong damaging winds. But what we'll have to watch over the next hour or so is if it upholds its strength. If it starts to die down a bit, maybe we drop below the severe limits, only gusts peaking around 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. We need that 60-mile-an-hour mark to get that extended warning. We did get an update from that warning, so I want to go ahead and pull that up, just make sure that they didn't up the speeds on this severe thunderstorm warning. Still going out until 12:15, and this cell is starting to pick up some speed. Now it's producing wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. So again, if you live on the western side, the northwestern side of Sequoyah County, Gore area, evening shade area, we're about to get some really strong damaging winds coming through the area. Down the line, even though this is only moving at, let's see here, now it's only moving east at 20 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and redraw that out. Slow moving system right now, producing really strong wind gusts. If it continues its speed at only moving 20 miles per hour, I have to say the concern is going to switch from severe storms to maybe the flash flooding concern. And we already have a flood watch across most of the river valley. The Fort Smith area has seen a lot of flooding the past couple of days. Lots of low-lying areas in the Fort Smith, Van Buren area. So if we start to see this really start to slow down and hit the brakes, we could be talking about more of that flash flooding overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. I want to go ahead and track that out again. Not only did they up the wind gust speeds up to 70, but they also updated the speed that it's moving at. And so now it's only moving at 20 miles per hour. So that's going to change our time of arrival for those places that we just mentioned. If we knock this down from 35 to only 20 miles per hour, we're going to see a lot different times of arrival here. So if we track this out now with that updated time, Gore close to 12:15. That's about 20 minutes from now. Vian at 12:30. Sallisaw just after 1:10, around 1:10. Brushy area around 1:11. Roland close to 2 a.m. Fort Smith close to 2:15. Alma close to 2:30, 2:40. Greenwood close to 3 a.m. So again, not to say that this system couldn't pick up speed again, but it's producing those winds up to 70 miles per hour, and that's well above the severe threshold. This is going to cause some damage in these areas, so we wanted to hop on here and give a heads up. The immediate threat is going to be in the Gore, Vian, Sallisaw area, anywhere in Sequoyah County, especially on the western side. That's where we're going to see this initial line really start to come through first, and we'll have to keep an eye to see if it upholds its strength as it crosses over into western Arkansas. So I want to give a wider perspective here. We'll go ahead and change it back over to rain mode, and you can kind of see those winds starting to gust out ahead of that system. We'll take it northwest Arkansas, River Valley wide. Two systems merging here. This line of thunderstorms has been moving across portions of central and southeastern Oklahoma this entire evening, prompting several flash flood warnings in the Oklahoma City area. And then we have another line of thunderstorms that's diving out of northeastern Oklahoma. These two systems are going to merge. They could either do a couple things here. It could either really slow down and cause an even higher flash flooding risk, or we could start to gain some energy back, and then it transitions back to more of that straight line damaging wind threat. Again, just this one warning that we have right now, but the immediate wind threat is what we're really concerned about. And for Sequoyah County, I won't be surprised if we're talking about wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, that if they don't go ahead and reissue that warning to move further down the line, eventually pushing deeper into Sequoyah County, maybe even clipping portions of Sebastian or Crawford County. Right now, I want to show you the watch real quick. We'll get back to radar here in just a second. Western Arkansas not included in the severe thunderstorm watch. If the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center go into what's called a conference, we could see some works of that watch being redrawn and extending into northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But right now, only portions of eastern Oklahoma, highlighted in pink, is underneath that severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. So we'll have to keep an eye to see if they go ahead and extend that watch if we start to see this line of thunderstorms really start to come together and produce some of those stronger winds. We're also keeping an eye on our chat with the National Weather Service so they can inform us of what they're seeing on their end. But boy, you see that bright color return right there, now just about to cross over into Sequoyah County. So Paradise Hill, Evening Shade, Gore, Vian down the line. This is where those straight line winds are going to be coming in, gusting up to 70 miles per hour. That's going to cause some damage. So we wanted to hop on here. You see all these bright colored returns here. That's where we're going to see the straight line wind threat come right onto the western side of Sequoyah County. Hopefully nobody's traveling this late at night, but surely they are on I-40. Could see some straight line winds if you're heading towards the west. And this is going to be another concern that we're going to most likely see throughout the majority of the night tonight. If this system's only moving at 20 miles per hour, that, folks, is a very slow-moving system. It is dumping water. It is sitting over an isolated area, and it's going to continue to just dump that water. So again, flood watch across portions of the River Valley, almost the entire River Valley outside of Johnson County is underneath that flood watch for the next couple of days. So we're going to see a lot of heavy rainfall tonight, rainfall rates anywhere between 1-2+ inches of rain per hour. Fort Smith area not only had heavy rainfall yesterday, but also this morning, and now even tonight, overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we're about to get another round of a very slow-moving system that's producing a lot of rainfall. So again, two systems merging here. If we move a little bit further north, keep an eye on this line as well. Make sure this doesn't cross over the severe limits. Folks who are still cleaning up in Benton County, even though you don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings coming, this place got hard last Sunday. Decatur area, if you're up this late, Gentry area, Salem Springs, Gravette, a lot of folks dealing with some damage. Hopefully we got some tarps on some roofs. Most likely here in the next 30 minutes to an hour or so, we're going to see some showers moving into Benton County. Well below the severe limits right now. Definitely we'll keep an eye on it if we start to regain some of that energy. Just that one severe thunderstorm warning as we stand right now into western Sequoyah. So let's go ahead and pull up velocity again. Not seeing anything great out of this northern line of thunderstorms that's moving through. If we bounce back down here though, this is what's concerning, is really bright returns coming out of this warning. Those winds just coming in to western Sequoyah County now. So again, we're going to probably stay with this cell for the majority. It's kind of Might be talking about the same place for a while here, unless we start to get some other warnings. But 70-mile-an-hour winds, whether it's straight line or whether it's some rotation in there. Good news is we're not seeing any rotation right now. This is some damaging wind. Folks tuning in across the river valley, we'll go ahead and redraw that out if you're just now joining us on our live streaming platforms. Just to give you some times of arrival, because if this holds up, we're bouncing between radar sites here. That's why you see the different colors. Going to stick with Tulsa right now, a little bit closer. Once this line gets a little bit closer to Fort Smith, we'll probably use that as our main tool going forward. So this warning going out for another 15 minutes. Won't be surprised if it upholds its strength if they go ahead and reissue that warning deeper into Sequoia, portions of Adair, maybe even into Crawford. But here's the latest timeline. Gore at 12:15, Vian at 12:30, Salisaw 1:10, Cherry Tree at 1:24, Roland at 1:55, Fort Smith 12:15, Van Buren at 2:20. Fort Smith at 2:15, Van Buren at 2:20, Greenwood just after 3 a.m. So if you're towards the end of this list, Fort Smith, Van Buren, Greenwood area, and you're thinking, well, I'm going to head to bed here pretty soon, if not already at bed, waking up, seeing the push alert, you got some time here. If it upholds this slow-moving path it's going at only 20 miles per hour, if you want to step outside, maybe grab a few things, some patio furniture, tuck it inside real quick, maybe even move the car in case we get some hail starting to come out of this system, you got some time. This is a overnight system. We're just in the beginning stages of it. But down the line, once we get early in tomorrow morning, that's when we could start to hear it get very loud outside, very windy, very gusty. 70-mile-an-hour winds, definitely capable of blowing some trees around, breaking some branches, knocking some trees over. So this is our one cell that we're going to have to keep an eye on. I want to pull up our hail cores real quick. Hail was not one of our greatest concerns this evening. Mainly throughout this entire evening leading up to this event, we were talking about, hey, this is going to be a straight line wind threat. This is going to cause some damage if it starts to pick up some energy. And that's what we're seeing here. Sure, we had some larger hailstones further off towards the west, but where that strong wind is coming in just now to Sequoia, it's well behind that. So not really a hail concern right now. But down the line, if we start to see these winds die down just a bit, we could transition into a hail threat. Let's pull up velocity again. In each scan, we are getting deeper and deeper into Sequoia County. And let's see if I go ahead and pull this. Still out for 12:15. Keeping an eye on our chat with the National Weather Service just in case they decide to extend this warning a little bit further east, southeast. Right now, Gore area is seeing some of those very strong winds coming through, even though you're just on the corner of that warning, still involved in it. Really starting to see some of those damaging winds come through. Just because we say capable of producing up to 70 miles per hour doesn't mean it's necessarily gusting up to that point. It's just capable of producing up to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Most likely those winds anywhere between 40, 50, 60 miles an hour right now. Paradise Hill, right now, starting to see some of those strong damaging winds down the line, evening shade, and Vian area, right along I-40, cutting through Sequoia County. That's where our main concern is going to be in the short term. Let's pull up rain mode again and get a little bit of wider look here. So across the river valley right now, very quiet. Very calm outside, very muggy outside. Dew point values in those lower 70s, upper 60s. So lots of energy still available. If these storms decide to keep on using that fuel, they're going to continue to push towards the east. And this is going to be a very late night, early morning system that right now, if you live in Crawford, Sebastian, Franklin, Logan, Scott, LaFleur, we've got some time right now. So take those precautions right now. Move some things around. You don't want to be waiting until the last second before we get that warning and then start moving things around outside. Across northwest Arkansas, these two systems are merging. If you're just now joining us, we had a line diving out of southeastern southeastern Kansas. Now that has merged with this line, so now we've just got this giant line of heavy rainfall that's moving very slowly. Eventually going to reach into northwest Arkansas. Some folks in Benton County still cleaning up. They're getting an update on that warning right there. Most likely just trimming it down cutting some communities out of there. But they're still hanging on to capable of producing up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. And it's picking up speed again. So this is your thunderstorm moving southeast up to 40 miles per hour now. So we're fluctuating between those speeds. We were at 20, now we're at 40. So all of these different updates that we get every time you see that blinking polygon is some new information that we get. And whenever we get that, we're going to take it back to velocity here and kind of see what the latest timeline of that's going to be. So we'll get back up here, adjust those times from 20 miles per hour to 40, and draw that out. I'm going to change it to velocity because that's our main concern here is these straight line winds. We draw this out here. So now this is adjusted for the system moving at 40 miles per hour towards the southeast. Gore right now, a couple minutes, you're going to see the heaviest amount of those winds. Salisaw, about 20, 30 minutes or so, 12:35. Roland, just close to 1 a.m. Fort Smith at 1:10. Greenwood at 1:40. Charleston at 1:45. Paris just after 2 a.m. Taking a look at our hail again. Not much to be concerned of right now. We got to wait for those blue returns to come back. We got about less than 10 minutes left on this warning. If they let that warning expire, let's see here. If they let that warning expire, we'll probably hop back off and just monitor in the weather center of if it starts to re-energize, we could get another warning down the line. But for folks who are heading to bed here pretty soon, just a reminder, across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, have that level 1 marginal risk across most of northwest Arkansas. Level 2 slight risk, which is a higher risk on our 1 through 5 scale, is across eastern Oklahoma, portions south of I-40 across the River Valley. So definitely the River Valley has the potential of seeing more of those stronger storms. We'll be keeping an eye on these storms across northwest Arkansas, though, at the same time. And we got to wait to see what happens further up towards the north if this really starts to come together and build some energy. That's when we can get some of those strong winds. We're also a concern right now just because of all the damage in and around Benton County is going to be the heavy rainfall moving in. If this is still moving only 20 to 40 miles per hour, very slow moving system, Benton County going to see some of that heavier rainfall tonight. Good news is it's a little bit of a skinnier line further up towards the north, so maybe not seeing that prolonged rainfall as long. But not only do we have to worry about the folks who are still cleaning up in Benton County, also have to worry about the River Valley, who has that flood watch right now. That's going out until, I believe, Thursday morning as it stands right now. But we've picked up so much water over the past couple of days in those low-lying areas in the Fort Smith, Van Buren area. If you live on one of those streets that is usually prone to flooding, you could be in store for that once again tonight. I want to go ahead and draw out kind of a wider perspective here. Even though it's just this one warning, you never know which portion of this line is going to cross over to that warning very quickly. So Stigler close to 12:35, Salisaw 12:40, Roland again still around 1:15, Fort Smith around 1:30, Greenwood close to 2 a.m., Ozark close to 2 a.m., and Paris close to 2:30. Let's pull up velocity again, get an update for these folks. And this is Tulsa's giving us our best reading right now. Let's move that out a little bit. So these strong straight line winds coming through right now. That's going to clip Haskell. That's going to clip Latimer. Brushy, Salisaw, Greasy, up to Stillwell. This is where we're focusing our attention right now of these strong winds, even though they haven't extended that warning just yet. And new from the National Weather Service, they are going to let this warning expire. So it's pulsing up, it's pulsing down. It picked up speeds close to 70 miles per hour. Now they're going ahead and let this warning expire. Here's what we're going to promise to you. If we do get another warning tonight, whether that's in Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley, we will definitely hop back on here. But now this warning, even though it goes out for another 5 minutes, National Weather Service out of Tulsa is going to let that expire. It's dropping below the severe limits for those winds. So while you still could see those wind gusts peaking up around 30, 40 miles per hour, it's just below the severe limits. Really all across this line this evening, overnight, and through tomorrow morning has the potential of producing some strong wind gusts, maybe not crossing over the severe limit, but it's going to be a very loud, very gusty night tonight. So you got some time right now if you're living in Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley to take care of a few things. But we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. If we do get another warning tonight, we will definitely be hopping back on our live streaming platforms. As always, keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.